don't expect a retirement decision from Martin Truex Jr. anytime soon. And with the 2024 season right around the corner, I made a list of the 10 best race teams in the Cup Series right now. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Clash at the Coliseum week is finally here. The off-season is basically over. We made it. I know, it just flies by. It's already over in some ways. Tonight, or tomorrow, I believe, the NASCAR Full Speed docuseries premieres on Netflix. And this past weekend, there was no shortage of racing action at Daytona International Speedway, the Rolex 24. One notable NASCAR connection that's worth mentioning is that 17-year-old Trackhouse development driver Connor Zilich's team secured the LMP2 class win. The second youngest winner, I believe, in the history of the 24 Hours of Daytona. That's a pretty funny photo right there. Congratulations, though, to Connor Zilisch. This win comes just a couple weeks after he announced a deal with Trackhouse. He's going to make some ARCA, late model, Trans Am truck, Xfinity, and additional IMSA starts this season. No better way to start off his 2024 campaign now that more eyes are on him than probably ever before. Congrats to Connor Zilisch. He's going to continue to attract a ton of attention this year, I'm sure of it. With the new season right around the corner, I'll debut my preseason power rankings in just a few moments, but there's one more story I'd like to react to. Bob Pockrass of Fox Sports talked to basically every Cup Series driver at Media Day recently, and Fox has recently been running those clips, compiling the most interesting quotes into stories, and this past weekend, they included some interesting quotes from last season's regular season champion, Martin Truex Jr. Truex was asked about what went wrong in the playoffs, and he said, quote, "It was kind of interesting how the playoffs played out, and some of it I don't really quite understand what happened, and some of it I do. We're working hard to do better and be more consistent. That's the name of the game with this car and everything just being so close now. Just being more consistent, making better decisions, less mistakes, and having better speed everywhere, hopefully. We've just got to repeat the regular season and figure out how to turn it up in the playoffs like we used to." I don't blame Truex for not knowing everything that went wrong because even as fans, the things that we could see, we still couldn't explain. Like at Kansas, Truex qualified well, was running top 5, but had a flat tire like 3 laps in. Must have run over debris or something, but we never saw it. Just awful luck. Some things like that are just very hard to explain. Martin Truex Jr. is the oldest full-time driver in the NASCAR Cup Series now that Kevin Harvick has retired, which means once again Truex will face many questions this year about his racing future. Bob Pockrass of Fox Sports got started early before the season even began. He asked Martin Truex Jr. about retirement, and Truex largely laughed it off, but also said that we shouldn't expect an answer anytime soon.
I can tell you it's probably going to take even longer this year to figure it out, so you might have to wait till September. I'll let you know when I know.
What? You'll wait that long? Maybe.
I'll let you know when I know.
Go back to 2022. I believe it was in June that Truex announced he'd be back for 2023. And then in 2023, Truex waited until August to announce he'd be back for 2024. If that pattern continues, yeah, we may wait until September, shoot even October for a final decision from MTJ. Truex is one of the few drivers in the Cup Series today, I believe, that truly holds that kind of leverage. You heard it from Joe Gibbs late last summer. He wanted Martin Truex Jr. back. He almost sounded desperate, like he was pleading with Truex to return to the team for another season. Martin Truex Jr. is obviously a great race car driver. He wins races every year, contends for championships consistently, but he also has strong relationships with sponsors like Bass Pro Shops. I saw recently Auto Owners will be back on the car for like 8 or 9 races this year. There aren't a ton of Martin Truex Jr.'s still out there, but he can sort of march to the beat of his own drum, go at his own pace. It can be hard on Joe Gibbs Racing and hard on the fans for sure, but that's where Martin Truex Jr. is at. Truex is 43 years old. He'll turn 44 the middle of this season. He's accomplished so much in his racing career. He's won a championship, and I think years from now, we'll look back at that 2017 season, how improbable it was that a Denver-based, largely independent race team was able to reach the pinnacle in the modern era of NASCAR Cup Series racing. That season is going to age beautifully as time goes on. Truex has won dozens of races. races. He's a shoo-in to make the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I'm sure he'd love to win a Daytona 500. He's come up this close before, but if he doesn't, his resume still speaks for itself. Obviously, Martin Truex Jr. has the right to make whatever decision is best for him, but I was on the record last year saying that I hoped he would return in 2024, mainly because he was having such a fantastic 2023. It was clear Truex was still in his prime, at or very near the top of his game, and I want to see the best drivers compete on Sundays. Truex is still one of the best drivers. We'll see if his head and heart are still in it here in 2024. If he goes out there and continues to win and contends for another championship, shoot, I'll want him back for another season. But you can tell the grueling NASCAR schedule, I think, is starting to weigh on him a bit. If the results aren't as strong this year and Truex decides to hang it up, I'll applaud him for a tremendous NASCAR Cup Series career and many great memories made along the way. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you think this will be Martin Truex Jr.'s final year of NASCAR Cup Series racing, or will he be back for at least one more go-round? Before we debut my all-new power ranking segment, a couple of Daytona 500 headlines worth mentioning. Pitbull will perform the pre-race concert ahead of the Great American Race. Good get. Obviously, he has NASCAR connections, Florida connections, very well known domestically and internationally. I think Pitbull will put on a fun show ahead of the Daytona 500. I can't wait. And secondly, yesterday it was confirmed that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson will deliver the command to fire engines. That explains the seemingly random Dwayne Johnson cameos in these Daytona 500 commercials that we've been seeing. I had so many questions. It makes sense though. Fox is broadcasting that new, is it the United Football League? And I know Dwayne Johnson is, I think, a co-owner of that new football league. So obviously the Fox football Rock tie-in makes sense, but still another big name, recognizable celebrity. Couple of flashy picks, I believe, for this year's Daytona 500. Looking forward to it. Now, I'm very excited to debut a brand new segment. Every week, I'm going to compile a list of who I think the 10 fastest drivers and teams in the Cup Series are currently. I'll keep track week to week of who's trending up, who's trending down, and I encourage you guys to follow along, hold me accountable. If I get something wrong or I underestimate a driver, let me know down in the comments below, because when I get things right, I'll be sure to let you guys know about it. But let's get things started. The first ever Out of the Groove Power Rankings segment. Preseason edition. At number 10, give me Ross Chastain. Trackhouse clearly took a step backwards last season, but Ross still finished the year with 2 wins. The cars have to be better. That's step one. But then Ross can't overthink the way he drives. Some of his aggressive or over-aggressive mistakes may drive me crazy, but we saw at Phoenix in the finale that Ross Chastain is at his best when he's up on the wheel, not backing down from anyone. Ross Chastain at number 10. At number 9, give me Kyle Busch. First half of last season was fantastic. 3 wins, but he ran out of steam quickly. In the final 10 races, the playoffs, his average finish was 17.6. If you look at laps led, in the first half of the season, first 18 races, Kyle Busch led 226 laps. He led 15 laps the entire second half of the year. So in many ways, Kyle Busch kind of fell off a cliff around the midway point of last season. Can't let that happen this year. For now, I have Kyle Busch at number 9. At number 8, we just talked about him, Martin Truex Jr. I'm still pretty high on Martin Truex Jr. I know the playoffs last year were a struggle, but hey, he did manage to lead laps in each of the last 4 races of the season. He still had the steadiest and most consistent regular season of anyone. 3 wins, also won the Clash. Sure, he'll likely face tedious retirement questions all summer long, but that didn't seem to impact him last season. At number 7, I'll go Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher had 3 wins last year, tied for 3rd most in the NASCAR Cup Series. I'm a big believer in RFK racing, but I want to see how they fire off this year. I can't help but think about Trackhouse. In 2022, they caught us all by surprise, had a fantastic year, and then fell back down to earth a bit in 2023. I hope that doesn't happen to RFK, but it is in the back of my mind. At number 6, I've got Tyler Reddick. He finished last year with 1 less win than Chris Buescher, but he had nearly twice as many laps led, triple the number of stage wins. Both Reddick and Buescher made it to the round of 8. 2311 racing has gotten better every single year. This is year 4, I think Tyler Reddick is poised to have a career-defining season. At number 5, let's go Christopher Bell. Back-to-back championship 4 appearances. In my opinion, he's proven that more times than not, you can count on him in the clutch. And last season, he set a career best with a 12.9 average finish. That's very good, Christopher Bell at 5. Give me Denny Hamlin at number 4. Look, I know Christopher Bell has represented JGR at Phoenix the past 2 years, but Denny Hamlin has been right there both years. And last season, Denny Hamlin had better overall numbers. He had 1 more win than Christopher Bell, 5 more top 5s. No matter where explicitly you'd rank them, I think we can all agree that Joe Gibbs Racing still has a heck of a 3-headed monster between Hamlin, Bell, and Truex. Top 3, give me Kyle Larson at number 3. 15 top 5 finishes last year, was tied for the most in the NASCAR Cup Series, but he also had 8 DNFs. I believe the 5 team is the most complete package in the Cup Series today. Crew chief is a great leader. Pit crew is extremely fast. Hendrick has tremendous resources. Kyle Larson, I don't think there's a driver in Cup with the same raw speed as Kyle Larson. The only issue I ever have with Larson is that sometimes I think he pushes a bit too hard situationally, and it leads to mistakes. We saw him crash out twice in the playoffs, making what I believe to be over-aggressive mistakes. Those incidents didn't cost him. He still made it to the championship 4, but it's always something you gotta watch out for when Kyle Larson is up front. At number 2, give me Ryan Blaney. Look, nobody finished 2023 better than Ryan Blaney. In the final 6 races, he had 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes when all the best teams were bringing their best stuff. Now I want to see Blaney put together a full year of dominance. Penske drivers have won back-to-back titles, but they've done so by and large by getting hot at the right time. I want to see Blaney win 5 races this year. I think he's capable of it. I want to see him be fast from February to November with few slumps in between. That leaves us with the number 1 slot. I'm giving it to William Byron. I think he had the most consistent overall 2023. He had 6 wins to lead all drivers. An 11.0 average finish was fantastic. What impressed me most about Byron last year is that he avoided that mid-season slump. I believe his 2022 season in many ways was held back because of how badly the 24 struggled over the summer. Missed out on a lot of potential playoff points, stage wins, race wins, also fell down the regular season standings, hurt him in the playoff point category. I think that bit him in October. He avoided those kind of lulls in 2023. That impressed me. William Byron at 1. So there you go. My first ever Out of the Groove Power Rankings preseason edition. Those are the top 10 drivers and teams in the Cup Series right now, I believe. We'll do this again every single week. You'll be able to keep track of how drivers move up and down my rankings. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Who would be number 1 on your list? Did I leave any drivers out of the top 10 that you think should be in? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that is going to do it for this episode, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters. I hope your week gets off to a great start. I will see you all again very soon.